The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. That time Jesus exclaimed, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father. No one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Come to me. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened. Sounds awful. Labor and are burdened. Sounds like an animal. Take a pack animal, put a whole bunch of stuff on it. That's what it sounds like. All you who labor and are burdened. Many of the things in this life that we are burdened with, we often do to ourselves. Assumptions we make, commitments we have, things we choose to do. And so they at times can feel overwhelming. But it's important to remember that it's not God who does this to us, but ourselves. We are burdened down with all kinds of responsibilities that we've taken on. Jesus says, you who are labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Rest from the burden. Rest from all that labor. It's like having a place of peace and quiet where you can rest in the shade. Jesus then says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Yoke. You know what a yoke is? Take my yoke upon you. It's an agricultural implement. At the time of Jesus and even to this day, they use a yoke to put on the animals. In this case would be ox. It's a long timber sort of thing that lays on top of the animal's necks, has a semicircular thing to connect the animal to the yoke. And that way the two ox are tied together, so that they walk in the same way. Without the yoke, they go all over the place. But the yoke keeps them together. So pulling the wagon or pulling the plow. That way they can do the work the farmer is requiring of them. It's important to train the little calves very early in submitting to the yoke. Because if you wait too long, they get rebellious and they'll fight it. And they won't like it. But if you get them early enough and train them, they're very teachable, very pliable, and they cooperate. And so the image Jesus is using is of a training yoke. You have an adult ox, you have a baby ox. And so what they have is a yoke on the big ox, just as usual, but the other end of the timber is a little yoke. Little one that they put around the little calf's neck. And that way it binds the calf to the big ox so that they will walk together. And the little calf will learn how to do that. Will learn from the big ox. The little ox will teach them. They'll be tied together. And so the little ox will learn to pull the wagon and pull the plow. So that's the image that Jesus is using of this training yoke. Big on one side, little on the other. He says, take my yoke upon you, my yoke. My yoke. His yoke is a training yoke, just as they do with the little ox. But it's important that the big ox be kind to the little ox. Don't trample it. Don't drag it around. You have to cooperate with this little ox. And so the big ox needs to be gentle with that little ox. Be gentle. So Jesus says, take my yoke upon you, learn from me, for I am meek. I am meek. Just as the ox needs to be. I am meek. It means gentle. Be gentle. Take it easy. Drag this little guy around. You have to be gentle with it. I am meek and humble of heart. Those might sound like the same thing, but they're not. Meek is being gentle. Humble of heart is being oriented. Humble of heart. Not being humble of heart is being prideful. All focused in on ourselves, whatever we want or we think, and don't care about anybody else. But being humble of heart means that we're focused on the Lord, like Jesus. In the beginning of the gospel, Jesus says, the Father and I know one another. I know the Father knows me. Jesus is totally focused on the Father's will, and that's what it means to be humble of heart. For us, we're called to be humble. And for the ox, what that means is they do their job. Don't wander off. Got to stay the course. Be humble of heart as the ox pulling the plow, pulling the wagon, as they were trained to do. That's being humble of heart. And so the image that Jesus uses is as a little ox is tied to the big ox by the yoke, so we are tied to Jesus through baptism. Jesus is in the metaphor of the big ox with the little ox. And we're tied to him, and he's teaching us. He's teaching us by being connected to this metaphorical yoke. But it teaches us through the gospel and through the power of the Spirit to walk with Jesus, to walk with him, to be gentle like Jesus, be like him, walk like him, talk like him. But be gentle with other people, just as the big ox needs to be gentle with the little ox. Jesus is calling us to be gentle as well. Gentle with one another. Take it easy. Give people a break. Sometimes we have such high standards. We expect people to be so much like us. And then if they're not, we get mad. We get angry about it. They're bad people. But that's not true. They're perfectly good people, just like us. Sometimes we can have the standards too high. We're expecting way too much of other people. I know people who have children, they have high expectations that are so high, those parents could not do that when they were their age. But they expect these little children to, get straight A's in school and be well in sports and do all these great things that they couldn't do it at that age. But by golly, these kids are going to do it. So we're called to lower that. Lower that, don't need to be 100%. Bring it down. Give people a break. Give them space. Don't have them. They have to be just like you. They have to be just another copy of myself. But allow them to be themselves, for good or for bad. That's who they are. So what we learn from Jesus then, as the little ox is encountered with this big ox, is gentleness. Jesus is gentle with us. And so we're called to be gentle with other people. And to be humble of heart. Be humble. Humble before the Lord. As the ox is trained to do the ox's job, pulling the wagon, pulling the plow. So we're called to be humble of heart, to be oriented to God. Oriented to God. That's our focus. It's not on ourselves, whatever I want or anything. We're called be humble of heart. That is, be like Jesus. And so as we journey through this life, the image that Jesus is using in the gospel is he's the big ox, he's the trainer. And we're called to join with him, just as that little ox is, to join with him and walk with him through this life. And then he tells us that if you do that, you will find rest for yourselves. Why? Because the big ox carries most of the weight of the yoke. Big ox has most of the weight, little ox, little bit of weight. And that's like us walking with Jesus through this life. Jesus carries most of the burden. We're given a break. We're given a place to rest because my yoke is easy and my burden's light. That doesn't mean we don't have troubles in this life. But the important thing is that we know that God's not putting that on us. That a lot of it, we do it to ourselves, our choices and how we live. But we're called to rest in the Lord and to know that that yoke is easy and his burden is light. It's not a heavy burden. It's not a heavy yoke that we need to carry as Christians. It's light. So we're called to be gentle with other people, be gentle with ourselves, give everybody a break, including ourselves, let go of a lot of that stress, and be humble of heart, oriented to the Lord, just like Jesus was. This weekend we celebrate the 4th of July, 250th anniversary of the founding of this country. There's a scene that the historians talk about where Benjamin Franklin's leaving the Continental Congress. And a woman comes up to him and says, well, what's the result of the vote? Are we a kingdom or are we a republic? And he says, we're a republic if you can keep it. It's important for us to know that as Americans that we're called in this country to live in peace, to be gentle with one another, be humble of heart, be oriented to the work of the Lord, or live according to the gospel. And to not be so demanding that people have to all be the same. We're not. This is a country built on diversity, all kinds of languages and colors and ethnics and ethnicity and backgrounds. But that's the strength of this country, is that diversity, not unity. Everybody has to be the same. That's not how this country was founded. And it's not how it's put together now under the Constitution. So we're called on this weekend of the 4th of July to appreciate the strength of this country in our diversity, and that we allow all kinds of people, including each one of us, because we can be real different from other people, to live here in peace. And what the Constitution did, and by the founding of the country, is that it guaranteed three things: life. We have a right to have a life. You have a right to have a life. You have a right to be free, free from oppression, free from somebody laying burdens on you. And a right to happiness. You have a right to be happy. You have a right to happiness in this life, and no one has the right to take that away from you. That's what we celebrate this weekend with this 4th of July celebration, is the freedom that we gain from this country. But according to Benjamin Franklin, we need to keep it safe, to guard it, not give it up, not betray it, not abandon it, but stand up and support the country and the freedom that the country gives us.